Much better.
All right.
I don't think there's any weird lights on my head.
Welcome back to Sherlock Vlogs. Before we get into this one, my favorite episode, The Sign of Three, mea culpa, my bad. I was going through, I've been posting the videos as we're watching the older episodes. I don't know what happened, but I totally lost the footage to the review we did of Hound of the Baskervilles. Sorry.
Wait, wasn't that our shortest one ever?
No, that was for the blind banker.
Oh.
So I'll get around to it. I'll do one without Rachel here, and just so we can have all the episode vlogs there. But yeah, sorry about that.
Way to go, George.
Yeah, I know. Fuck me, right? So episode 2, series 3, the Sign of Three. My favorite episode in the series. It's the funniest. It's got a really cool plot. Oh my god, the heart.
It has so much heart.
The foreshadowing for what's like his last vow, which is the name of the last episode of this season, and the last scene of the episode we just watched is he's talking about his first and only vow he'll ever give, which is to protect Mary and John. So you're like, oh god, what does that mean? I love it. So this is the John gets married, John and Mary get married episode. What are your thoughts?
There's too many emotions in this one. It's so sweet. And you actually get to see, like, well, it's actually really funny. Can I jump ahead to the best man speech?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
like, obviously that, like, helps tell the whole story of everything.
Yeah.
But, like, my favorite part, one of the favorite parts is, like, when the crowd is reacting to what Sherlock is saying, and he's so deadpan about it, but, like, they're crying and laughing, and he's just like, have I done something wrong? Like,
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously...
How oblivious he is
obviously
to
Sherlock,
human emotions.
yeah, Sherlock has to give the toast, which makes up most of the episode. And as he's talking, we get flashbacks to their bachelor party night, to other cases. But the crux of the speech, I think makes everybody cry, is Sherlock saying, I have Watson by my side, not because it's not a vanity or whatever, but because it's about comparisons. In the exact same way that, a bride picks plain friends of hers to be her bridesmaids. Or, a priest becomes a priest because it's the occupation for the blah, blah, blah idiots. The family idiot, that kind of thing. He's making all these horrible statements about everyone in the room. And he's like, what I'm getting at is, I am the most arrogant, mean-spirited, rude, unhappy asshole. So, the fact that I have John next to me, who is the most kind, caring, loyal, smart man in the world, that speaks volumes. And he says, but however, John, I can't congratulate you on your choice of companion. And there's a beat, and he's like, well, now I can. Mary, the fact that you deserve this guy is, that's the highest compliment I can give, and you're lovely together, and he saved my life too many times, and I want to solve the murder. John wants to stop the murder from happening, and it's so good.
It's so good, and he doesn't even realize what he's saying, and or how to act.
But he means it.
I know, and I love that dynamic. John's willing to kind of teach him how to be human in a way.
If I try to hug him, stop me. Absolutely not. I love Mary in this episode. I've seen this one a lot. I love this season. Obviously, it's the big cliffhanger we'll get to in the next episode. So I've rewatched this season quite a few times. Obviously, I love this episode because it's John and Sherlock, yay! But man, they're laying the pipe hard for Mary, and what's the big reveal? What's going to happen in the next one? Because she's so good at manipulating the two of them.
Yeah.
She sends them both on an errand, and makes it seem like it's both their ideas.
Yeah.
When shit gets bad at the wedding, of course, there has to be a murder attempt at the wedding because it's Sherlock. She remembers details about what room the victim is staying in. She convinces Sherlock to do a thing, and she's really funny. She's drinking the champagne, it's so gross. I picked this one.
She's so charming, and she seems really real.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a really natural actress.
Yeah.
I love this one point where she's making fun of Sherlock because he's jealous of somebody else that John invited to the wedding, and she's saying he talks about it all the time. He's actually really antisocial, and Sherlock's really, that guy is the most antisocial person that John knows. And Mary's like, oh, Sherlock, stop being jealous. He loves you so much. And Sherlock goes, stop smiling. And she's like, it's my wedding day. I'm going to smile all I want.
So sweet.
We get to see the bachelor party, which is fantastic. Sherlock and John.
They're drinking. He's calculating how much beer that they can have per hour.
Precisely, to stay in the sweet spot of drunk. But of course, Watson's fucking that all up by pouring shots in them and
I know.
things like that. They're gonna go visit. They're gonna have a drink on every street where they found a dead body.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's really cool. Molly helps him out by figuring out the exact volumetric approach for them to get drunk.
That's so cute. They end up shit-faced anyway.
Yeah, they end up passed out in a jail cell.
Sherlock is hilarious.
Yeah. So obviously, we haven't really got into it, but like when Sherlock is examining a crime scene or reading somebody, words pop up on the screen. So like, so if he's looking at this blanket, the camera will zoom in on the blanket and it'll say like wool, fabric, made this year, oh, there's a slight tear here, misuse, things like that. All those words pop up on the screen. When Sherlock is drunk, it shows the chair and it just says like, chair, sleep, high-tech thing?
Yeah, it showed the woman that they were with, and it just said brown hair, cardigan, victim, like obvious things. Like, hilarious.
He can't function.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's actually
a good anti-drinking scene.
Made me want to drink real bad. It's a really cool mystery too because there's a couple different cases going on. This episode's a lot like The Big Lebowski to me, which is like this really funny movie, but actually has a really convincing, interesting, complicated mystery plot to it.
Yeah.
This one does too. There's a couple different cases going on. Well, 3, I guess, big ones. One is the palace guard, the guys in London who can't react.
Dean Thomas,
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Alfred.
Yeah,
Enoch. The guy who stands outside, the guys who stand outside the palace in big fucking hats, and you can like go up and make faces at them.
You're like,
one of those guys has been. This is before the wedding. So Sherlock's telling the story. Something happened, but Sherlock couldn't figure it out. And while Sherlock was busy trying to just like, it's stupid, he's dying. This is what happened. John saved the guy's life. But how did that happen? That's one case. The woman that when they get drunk on the bachelor party, she thinks she might be dating a ghost. Mm-hmm. And it turns out there's like a bunch of different women who think they might be dating ghosts, and they all have something in common, but he can't figure out what it is. We get to go to the Mind Palace again.
Yeah.
Where he's in this huge room, and he's like, nope, no. He's such a dick. Just shutting, just not you.
He thinks purely logically. I get
it. Except he's got 7 laptops open.
Yeah.
I love the imagery of that. It's like, just open a new tab, buddy.
Where did he get 7 laptops?
Yeah, I don't know. And that's about, so like, there is a guy who's preying on women, and using apparently what he's been doing is, if somebody dies, that flat is available, so he'll take a woman out on a date, assume that dead man's identity, and bring her back to that guy's house. But nothing's ever stolen, he doesn't have sex with any of them. What the hell's going on? And then the third case is what happens at the wedding, which Sherlock figures out somebody's going to get murdered. Of course, someone's going to get murdered at John's wedding. So who is it and how did it happen? And it turns out it's all kind of tied together, which is awesome. Do you remember? Do you want to give it a shot?
Okay, I have a question before we start, and I think I can give it a shot. But how do we know that someone's going to get murdered at the wedding again?
So Sherlock's giving his toast, and he says to the very end, like, everyone stand up. Everyone is here for. There's only one reason why you'd all be here, and that's for John and Mary. And then he says it, and he drops it, like he realizes something, he drops his glass, and it flashes into the thing, and he realizes, like, oh my god, the murder the murder at the palace was a rehearsal, and he figures out that when they were really drunk, the woman who dated a ghost said, they're really famous. This is Sherlock Holmes and his partner, John Hamish Watson. Mm-hmm. How did she know his middle name? Then she also said on a chat thing, she said, enjoy the wedding.
So it's because
she
was with him.
Yeah, so it's not just...
He said something to her.
Yeah, he doesn't think right away that it's going to be a murder, but he realizes something is fucking goofy right away because, like, wait a minute. That woman knew John's full name, and she knew there was a wedding. What's going on?
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
And then that's where it starts to... And, like, in the space of however long it takes him to drop my glass, he goes through, like, everything and realizes that someone is going to be murdered.
Yeah.
And there's a really cool moment where he's in his mind palace, and Mycroft in his mind palace is yelling at him to figure it out. And Sherlock's like, he slaps up in the face in real life. He's like, no, not you. Then he turns around and focuses on John, and he's like, you're the guy. You keep me focused.
Yeah.
And, my heart.
I love that. The voices in your head get loud. Mine do.
So, what happens?
Okay, so first we have to understand what happens with Dean Thomas.
Yes.
I'm just going to call him Dean Thomas. He was the soldier at the palace. And his big thing was, like, he was murdered in a shower, but there was no
saved.
weapon.
John saved him.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He was stabbed.
Yeah, he was found bleeding out in a shower, but there was no weapon, no witness.
And John saved the life, which is important. And so we realize it's the belt buckle. Mm-hmm. And, like, there's this awful, like, scenery of, like, pulling the skewer out of the pot roast.
And the juice spewing out of the hole.
And so, like, he obviously, like, when he was taking a picture, just, I don't know what it looked like or what it was, but just some sort of
the idea is a really thin blade
Yeah.
So that you can stab through it, and you might not even feel it, but when the belt comes off,
then
you're going to bleed out.
Blood. Yeah.
So that's what happened with him.
And then the Mayflower guy was obviously had to be somebody who there would be no trace of him. And so what better guy than the photographer, where he's not in a single picture because he's taking all the pictures.
Right. But why was he dating all those women?
You know, I don't know.
He wanted to get the records of who was coming to the wedding, the guest list.
Did he already have it out for the guy that he was targeting? Okay.
One of John's friends, old military compatriots, accidentally got like a whole platoon of young British men killed in a horrible ambush. And everybody's like, you know, in the press, all the families of the men who killed, they all want that guy put up on charges of like war crimes and stuff like that. They want him murdered. So he's been off living a reclusive life for like, who knows, like a decade or more. But he's come out of hiding for the first time in years because his friend John is getting married.
Yeah.
So Sherlock deduces like, oh my god, that's why the murder has to happen at this wedding, because the only reason why you murder someone at a wedding is when, you know, you murder anybody anywhere. It's got to be a good reason. And the one time this guy has shown his face, and God knows how long he's going to be at this wedding.
Yeah, so it's like the perfect timing.
The Mayflower guy, the guy who's been dating, like the ghost. The Mayfly ghost. Yeah. The guy's been dating all the women, he's a ghost. He was trying to find someone on the guest lists, like on the guest list of their wedding, so he could see who was coming, and confirm the fact that, oh my god, that asshole who got my brother killed is going to be at the wedding.
Gotcha.
So that's what he was doing. The murder of the guard, Dean Thomas, that was his practice to make sure it would work. And then he showed up at the wedding as a replacement photographer, so he'd be free to move about without anyone really paying attention to him. Just like in the first episode, Study in Pink, the murderer is someone who can go anywhere, do anything, and you innately trust, and you don't really see them, a taxi driver.
Yeah.
In this case, the murderer is the wedding photographer who is just there, always around, but never really paying attention.
Yeah. Because he's just doing his job.
He uses that to orchestrate a photo where he's got the guy he wants to kill, and he places him just so, and then stabs him.
Yeah. Ugh.
And then Sherlock and John and Mary figure this all out, and they run up to his room.
That's a really sad scene. I remember watching that for the very first time, being like, "Oh my god, he's gonna
let it down.
Either he's gonna kill himself or something like."
But it's got one of my favorite exchanges ever between John and Sherlock, where they're like, I don't know how he did it. You're in danger. You've got to let me in. Sherlock is saying to the military guy in the room, he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you in. Solve it. Why don't you? If you solve it, then I'll let you in. And Sherlock's like, I don't. And John's like, no, solve it. Come on. You're not a sociopath. You're a drama queen. Yeah. The game is on. Solve it. Sherlock's like, all right, jeez. And he does. And then when they do, he says to Mary, by the way, he's a drama queen too. And Mary's like, oh, I know. But yeah, I love it. But inside, there's a moment where the scene that made you want to cry is where he says, come on, Sherlock, there's a reason, there's always a moment to die, isn't there? Isn't there an honor in knowing when that moment comes and you're supposed to face it? And you think he's going to unbuckle the belt and let himself bleed out. And then Sherlock is like, oh, of course you should. Absolutely you should. But not at John's wedding. We would never do that to John. And the guy's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So once again, Watson's able to save a life.
Yeah, he saves that life. It's a man.
And then the ending happens.
Yeah.
So they set it up. They set it up in the beginning. Sherlock is, before the wedding, Sherlock is nervous and talking to Miss Hudson. And like he doesn't understand what he's feeling, but essentially it's, things are going to change. I'm not going to see my friend as much. He's going to get married. And Mrs. Hudson is trying to tell him, it'll be all right. Things are going to be different, but like you have to deal with it. And she says, my best friend, when I was getting married, my maid of honor, we were going to be best friends forever, spent the whole day crying about how we were never going to see each other. And she just left before the wedding even ended. Like, who leaves halfway through a wedding?
Sherlock.
Yeah. So he's been hanging out with the maid of honor, Mary's maid of honor, the whole time.
Oh man.
And their chemistry is in. Yes.
Oh god, it's great.
But it's like the ultimate version of having the gay best friend kind of thing. Is I feel like their relationship, at least in this episode, because she knows he's broken. He can't date people, but he knows he can read people. So she's like, I'm here to find someone at this wedding to have sex with, and he's like, well, that guy got bad breath, that guy's divorced, that guy's broke, You're
useful. That's what
Can I keep you?
Yeah, something like
that. So they're together the whole time, and at the end, when everything's been kind of solved, Sherlock handcuffs the guy to like a luggage cart, and she's like, you always have handcuffs on you, and he's like, easy girl. But they're gonna go dance, and it turns out that Sherlock, who by the way, Sherlock wrote a waltz for John and Mary on his violin. He's been practicing dancing. He confides in his, his date, whatever, the maid of honor, that he actually loves dancing.
Oh.
Yeah, he told at the very end, like, I love it. Don't tell anybody, but I've loved it for ages. I always hope the right case will come along, but that's all he wants to do is dance at his friend's wedding.
Aww.
So they go to the dance floor, he plays his song, he makes one more toast in his vow, his first and last vow, which is, no matter what happens, John and Mary, I will always protect you. I'll protect all three of you. I mean, two of you. I mean, both of you. Anyway, play the music! And
that's when we know, like, he's like, what is it? The study of three?
The sign of three.
The sign of three. Yeah, he's like, Mary, your tastes have changed.
With the champagne she doesn't like anymore.
Yeah. Eating extra food, I think.
You were sick in the morning.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's
You're
like,
pregnant.
it's the sign of three. You should take a pregnancy test.
And John's like, stop.
John's like, but I'm a doctor. How did I not know? Sorry, John.
So the three of them are on the dance floor, and they're all three of them are so happy. Like, oh my god, look at we're friends, and she's pregnant, and we're married, and like the look on Sherlock's face, he's so fucking happy for his friend.
Yeah.
And then Sherlock's like, all right, dance. You got to do a dance right now because like this is weird. People are gonna wonder what we're talking about. And then Mary, because I love her too. Mary's like, but what about you, Sherlock? Like, I want you. John's like, no. The three of us can't dance.
Yeah.
So they let off the dance, and then Sherlock looks up and sees his maid of honor. And he starts to go to dance with her, but it's revealed she's dancing with the dude that he like said earlier was a good choice. And she's like, I got my guy, thanks.
Yeah.
So he takes his waltz and seals up an envelope for Dr. and Mrs. Watson. And then he just fucking bounces.
End of
because he can't function.
Yeah, it's too much for him.
So the third episode's going to be real good.
Heartbroken too.
Somebody on Tumblr said when this was airing said, "Oh my god, if Act 1 was fan theories and Act 2 is emotional squee relationship stuff, then the third episode is going to be unimaginable angst and pain." Because they're so playing with the fan base with this season. Like, we brought him back, here's all these different ways he can do it. In this one, all the fans who want John and Watson, Sherlock and Watson to be gay. There's so many moments where they like when they're getting drunk, there's a moment where John touches Sherlock's knee, and then he goes, it's fine with me. Like, whatever. They're so in love with each other, not in a romantic way, but just, they're just playing on playing on the fan base's emotion for loving these characters. And they reference Redbeard in this episode, which is the most heartbreaking fucking thing ever. Not going to be revealed until the third episode, but not Moriarty, that'd be amazing. Mycroft says to Sherlock, come on, Sherlock, I told you not to get involved with these ordinary fucking people, like, yada, yada, yada. And Sherlock's like, I'm not involved, I'm fine, I'm still unemotional, I still don't care. And Mycroft, being the dickhead older brother, says, oh yeah, you remember Redbeard? And Sherlock's like, oh, you dick. So yeah, heading into the next episode, John's happily married, maybe, with his newly pregnant wife. Sherlock is...
Why do you say John is happily married, maybe?
Because I remember how the episode starts.
The third one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sure, fuck it, I'm just gonna say it, because everyone's seen the show already. Spoilers for the first 8 seconds of the last episode of Season 3. John is bored out of his mind.
Yeah.
And Sherlock is fucking doing heroin in a crack basement. Like, it went so bad, so fast.
How much time do you think passed in between those episodes?
They say, I think it's like 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like...
Ugh.
Yeah, we'll get there, but
yeah.
It's not... Oh, and we get to hang out with that dude with the glasses from last episode again.
Oh.
The guy who was watching...
Oh, that guy. The German guy. Austrian.
Magnussen.
He has a Germanic accent.
Yes. So, the fun times are over, kids. And then we'll move on to Abominable Bride and finally the new episode, which I haven't watched yet, so...
Soon.
I'm probably going to watch tonight. She's got to go back to work tomorrow. Haha.
Don't remind me. It sucks.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's a job.
Yay, jobs. See you next time.
Later, Gators. There's a weird light on my forehead.
We can sit over there. You can sit over there?
Yeah.
Alright. See what I have to deal with, folks? Such a prima donna. Sit.